Every generation faces its trial. For our freedom fighters, it was independence. For the framers of our constitution, it was unity and survival. For us, here and now, the test is different. The trial of our times is this: do we want to live in a society where no one can watch us, or in a society where no one can harm us? That is the tension at the heart of democracy today. The right to privacy and the demand for national security. They are not allies, they are rivals. They are adversaries in a courtroom that never closes. And tonight, we put the trial on record. Welcome to the next hearing, India's Constitutional Dialogue series. Our case today is right to privacy versus national security. Where do we draw the line? Let's step back to the beginning. Our constitution, when it came into force in 1950, was a charter of liberty. It gave us fundamental rights, dignity, equality, protection of life under Article 21. But privacy, not a word, silence. For decades, the courts refused to recognize it. In 1954, in the case of MP Sharma, the Supreme Court said clearly, privacy is not a fundamental right. In 1962, in Kharak Singh, it repeated that position. The reasoning was simple. India was young, poor, vulnerable. The trace focus was unity, survival, economic development. Privacy was seen as elitist, almost a Western idea. Why speak of privacy when millions had no roof, no food, no basic dignity? But the world did not stand still. By the 1970s, technology expanded the power of the state. Wiretaps, intelligence agencies. By the 1990s, globalization and computer brought databases, credit cards, electronic trails. By the 2000s, the internet and the smartphones transformed daily life. Every citizen became traceable. Every action, every transaction, every thought recorded somewhere. Suddenly, privacy was no longer an elite demand. It became the everyday right of every Indian. And then came 2017, the turning point. The Supreme Court, in the landmark judgment of Justice K.C. Puttaswamy versus Union of India, delivered its verdict. Privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21, not a luxury, not a Western import, but the very foundation of dignity, autonomy, freedom of thought, freedom of choice. The court said, without privacy, liberty collapses. Without liberty, democracy dies. But even then, the judges added a line of caution. Privacy is not absolute. It can be restricted for legitimate state interest, national security, public order, prevention of crime. That single caveat is where the entire battle now lies. Because the state's argument is powerful. The first duty of government is protection. Without security, every right becomes a fragile piece of paper. What use is privacy if bombs go off in Mumbai? What use is liberty if the nation's borders fall? Look at our history. In 1962, when India faced China in war, national defense overshadowed liberty. In 1971, during the war with Pakistan, extraordinary powers were taken in the name of security. In 1975, during the emergency, civil liberties were suspended completely in the name of order. After the Parliament attack of 2001, after the Mumbai terror attacks of 2008, again and again, our state expanded surveillance in the name of survival. And it is not just India. In America, after 9/11, the Patriot Act gave sweeping powers to the government. Every phone call, every email, every bank record could be intercepted. In Israel, spyware like Pegasus was developed as a tool of national defense. In China, the state does not even pretend. Citizens are monitored constantly, scored, profiled. Privacy simply does not exist, but the state promises security in return. So the case for security is strong. But here is the counter question. What happens when the excuse of security itself becomes the weapon that erodes freedom? Courts have tried to hold the balance. In 1996, in the PUCL case, the Supreme Court held that phone tapping is an invasion of privacy, unless tightly regulated, unless approved at the highest level. In 2018, in the Aadhaar case, the court upheld Aadhaar was for welfare delivery but struck down parts that enabled mass surveillance. Again and again, the court has said, privacy matters, but privacy bends. But here's the danger. Each time a crisis comes, the balance tilts. In peace, the judiciary defends liberty. In fear, governments expand control. That rhythm has repeated itself in India's history. and globally. Today, though the battleground is different, surveillance is not only by the state, it is by the corporations. Every app on your phone tracks you. Every click on the internet is recorded. Every map you open, every purchase you make, every like you pressed, stored, analyzed, sold. We the people have surrendered our data voluntarily for convenience. So when the state demands access in the name of security, the irony is this. We have already handed over more to corporations than the state ever imagined. And increasingly, the two are working together, corporations and governments, exchanging data, buying access, building the infrastructure of surveillance. Now, let us step back and ask, how do other democracies answer this trial? In the United States, Edward Snowden's revelations exposed the mass surveillance of the National Security Agency. Millions of citizens' data were being collected without consent. The debate still rages. In Europe, the answer was the opposite. The GDPR, a sweeping law, gave citizens rights over their own data, imposed heavy restrictions on corporations, and even restrained governments. For Europe, privacy is dignity itself. And in China, the answer is clear. There is no privacy. Security and control are everything. India sits in the middle, too insecure to ignore surveillance, too democratic to abandon liberty. We are balancing, but the balance is fragile. Now, where does this trial go next? Into the future, and the future is already here. Artificial intelligence will profile citizens, predict crime, identify dissent before it even happens. Imagine being arrested not for what you did, but for what an algorithm predicts you might do. Biometric databases are expanding. Aadhaar, facial recognition, DNA profiling. The state already knows your fingerprints, your iris scans, even your gait. Data protection laws have been passed, but the state has exempted itself whenever it claims national security. India is already the world leader in internet shutdowns. Entire state cut off in the name of law and order. The next wars will not be fought with tanks. They will be fought with the data. The battlefield will not be on land, but inside your phone, your servers, your identity. And so, we return to the philosophical jury. What is freedom? Is it the absence of surveillance, or is it the absence of fear? Imagine two worlds. In one, there is perfect privacy, no surveillance, no monitoring, everyone is free. But so are terrorist criminals, foreign agents, chaos reigns. In the other, there is perfect security, every citizen is watched, tracked, controlled. No terror, no chaos, but also no dissent, no individuality, no liberty, tyranny. Both are nightmares. The answer is not in choosing one or the other. The answer is in refusing to let either extreme dominate. The answer is in tension. The fight itself is democracy. So where do we draw the line? The truth is, we don't draw it once and for all. We argue it, we contest it, we renegotiate it every day. Privacy without security is fragile. Security without privacy is tyranny. The argument between the two is what keeps democracy alive. And here is the final point. The verdict on this trial does not belong to judges alone. It does not belong to the ministers or bureaucrats. The verdict belongs to us, the citizens, because the state will always demand more power. It is our responsibility to watch the watchers. Trial between privacy and security is not ending. It will continue in parliament, in courts, in technology, in protest, in conversations like this, and that is how it should be. Because the moment the fight ends, liberty will be lost. This has been the next hearing in India's Constitutional Dialogue series. The court is adjourned now. Until you, the people decide where the line must be drawn. Thank you. This is Amod Pithodi.